having had a few weeks to fixate on it and having a few days to talk over it all with you, I have decided I do want to attempt that coat ensemble that we've been talking about. Now, in line with our typical practice and with what was common in the day, we're going to work with what we have on hand rather than get anything new, especially where I have this perfect pastel blue that is in line with what a lot of those coats look like. Now, my table averages about 2.2, 2.3, so that gives me a good idea in regards to yardage about how much I have to work with. Having measured the end out, I'm going to be able to estimate about how much I have, and that first piece was about 2.3, which is a decent amount of yardage to start with, but we are also going to measure out the second piecing. Now, where I got this at Joann's, I can't easily replace it, so I need to be able to make every single yard count. So it's a good idea to have on hand the exact amount I need so that I can decide how I want to adjust the project. Now, where this doesn't quite make it all the way to the end of the table, I am going to measure it out just to be doubly sure. Again, as I can't really replace it, I need to know exactly what I'm working with within a few inches. So I'm double, triple, and quadruple checking my settings, making sure that it stays even and level as much as humanly possible with just my hands. And I averaged out to about 1.5 for the end of this run, which gives me about 3.8, which, rounding up to 4 yards, should be about what I need to be able to make maybe a skirt set and a coat, which means I will need to make a plan for a top half that will be in line with the lining. So I'm just going to carefully put everything back on the bolt, and then I will be meeting with you guys to talk about the lining in a second. Where this is such a saturated pastel blue, I have to be really careful about what other colors I use with it, i.e. I don't have another similarly saturated pastel in my stash outside of my trims, so we are going to go a little bit more neutral in regards to what we do with the lining and the lower pieces. But for the trim, we can get a little bit more saturated than that. I was very fortunate in that I had a white that looks approximately close to the whites found within the weave of that blue cotton. So this poly is going to work for what we need to do. It's not as colorful as some of the other examples we've had, but it will get the job done for the project itself. Now you do see me drop the bolt here, and that's a mistake, but we're going to go ahead and make sure that we triple check our measurements, and we're going to be very careful about what we have here, because we very visibly have less than what we have for the suiting. So you see me just carefully adjusting everything and making sure that it's right. But I forgot my pattern weight, which is something I should really take away from my computer desk because it's in the other room. So what you see me doing here is I'm readjusting and futzing and just generally making sure is going to be as correct as humanly possible. This, if I have enough, is going to be for the coat and the top half of the project. And I averaged out to about 2.5, almost 3. So with some careful planning, I could get away with it, potentially. If not, this is something I can more easily replace because it's such a simple fabric. But yes, this is what we're going to be doing for our next project for a while. I will be double checking the measurements specifically on this off camera. But if you're looking forward to hang around with the journey with me, thank you, and thank you to everyone who showed up last night and the night before. Bye!